Hey chat, how we doing today? Okay, I know it says ropes and whatnot, but I do probably need to adjust the locations of some buildings while I'm here. And some positions too, no less. Because I just realized that a lot of these are just sort of floating about in midair, and that's not exactly what I'm aiming for. I'll certainly need to make quite a few adjustments to this. Okay, so obviously we've got the ropes and whatnot, and yeah, alright, we should be good to go. Right. So, I have done quite a fair bit with the ropes so far, but now for the mainland I need just basically locations for the characters to just run between, more or less. But first, I want to move all of these out of the way. So make sure I'm in X-ray mode for this. That. Actually, yeah, get rid of that one, get rid of that. And then, yeah, all of those are going to have to be moved. In fact, those will probably need to be moved too. Yeah, I'll move those. Those ones, I think, for the time being, should be fine. And, yeah. Alright, so, I need to move all of these. And that is also missing some... Gosh, dang it. There's, a lot of those that are just missing parts of the buildings. And, they've just been moved, essentially. Well, I just want to get it just past there. And then all these I need to, I think, move downwards, right? Although I say that as though it's a requirement. Now that's the height of the sidewalk. I probably just want to have this flat on the ground, I think. For the love of... I accidentally moved that out of the way. I didn't mean to do that. Get out of here. That's definitely going to need to be moved. And... around like that. So I want to be probably around about there. Now, some of this I could actually, loop cut and drag forward. And that could make for an interesting level traversal, but I think, if we were going into the actual safe house area, maybe slope would be the best way to go about it. Alright, so... next thing I probably want to do is make a cut here, because the entire idea here is I want to make a road that leads up into here. So X, Y, 0. And then scale this in the Y again. Now I do want these to be moved across. Now I just want to make it so it doesn't cut through the sides of the buildings and that. So I think I can just base it around those ones and I should be fine. And then here I need to remove this one. And I need to scale these ones specifically outwards. Just probably around about to here. And then extrude this. And I do need to remember to be careful of this because I need to extrude this out, then scale it so it's flat, and then get up the slope. So G and then X, because I didn't cancel that. Oh, interesting. Why is that sloped? Strange. And then extrude upwards to here. Extrude. I just want to shift Y here. Yeah. Shift Y and then GZ. So it just pops out of the ground there. Okay, cool. So if I were to go back into here, yeah, it tracks a little bit nicer, and then I can. I'd have to move these around, don't I? Because the actual size of this road's quite large. Well, I could make this smaller in general. I'd have to grab this and then scale this to the Y. So that the outer edges are the ones that conform to the overall scale of that. And then what I'd need to do is I'd need to probably just draw this cobblestone patch back a bit before extruding this out slightly more, and then that would give the pathway without being too weird over it. Okay, so another option is too, instead of creating like a whole just flat green block, I could actually fill in these sections and then like make them the correct color. That is an option that I have. Also, I just realized that the tabs I use to monitor my stream are acting a little bit strange at the moment. Why are you... Especially YouTube. What the hell is YouTube doing? What are you doing? Hello? Like, Twitch was acting slightly weird, but that's par for the course. It's Twitch. I'm pretty sure I'm live. Why is it acting so strange? If I go back into this, is it going to work, or is it going to still act like an absolute dipshit? Okay, now it wants to work, I think. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I have no idea what the deal is. Hey, Likely, how you doing? I was just fixing some weird issues with Twitch and YouTube not displaying my stream stuff properly. Okay, so I could fill this in, and it might be a better option. At the same time, I also have to like fill in everything else, which could prove to be a slight issue. I need to fix all these. I do not know why sometimes this is just not doing as I ask it to. Joys of this godforsaken software, I guess. I suppose it's not even the software's fault, it's just me being bad at Blender. Like, I'm willing to admit that. I'll be the first person to admit that I am terrible at this software. Okay, and now I can shift select this one. Okay. Now, if you just kindly behave yourself, that'd be great. I do need to do something about this fence too, because I originally had it set up like that, but I think I made the overall scale of these small. Can I just... If I scale that down as is, it's going to break the way this works. So what I can do instead, there is an option here, correct face attributes is enabled. So if I scale that down to Y, that should work. Okay, I don't want to scale those. But if I only scale, it's not gonna work. So I suppose the easiest way would be to... First of all, I need to see what I'm doing. That'd be a great start, wouldn't it? Move that across. And then I can move these. So G, Y, as well. And same with this side. We got that now, and now I can go into solo view and just scale this up. So that should be good, and now exiting this, it should be resized correctly. Alright, cool. Did any of the others get affected? No, they're pure duplicates and not just instanced. So I should be fine in that regard. Now, I just need to sort this lot out. Now, it'd be all well and good to have that be like that. I don't know if I want this entire empty section, though. I can readjust, it's just going to be a bit silly. I still also need to move this out. I do need to make quite a few adjustments to this thing. So, these. And just make sure I keep removing these ones. Now I can just move these across. I want to move it like halfway through here just so the bombs of the buildings aren't showing. Other than that, this should be fine. Well, that's been moved correctly. That should be fine. And this stuff back here. I need to... Here's the thing, right, chat? The external boundaries of the map are generally taken up by either empty space or like some sort of world-ending geometry. So like, say in the case here, this house is actually considered a wall, more or less. So like, you'd be actually no, this isn't the correct one. This is the Contessa's. Okay, so disregard that. There's one that looks similar to this in episode 5 that fulfills that purpose, but it's not that one. Like, say in the instance of Canada here, like, this is the end of the world. I'm trying to draw Sora on W place. I mean, honestly, good luck. The cooldown's driving me nuts. I don't even know what W place is. Mind elaborating? But yeah, there's, like, a huge ice wall here in Canada that's basically just world-ending geometry. This is the house I was referring to before. Like, this is technically a wall, even though the entire place is surrounded by water. So what I need to figure out is what kind of geometry or, like, walls, if any, do I want to place in this map. And obviously the blimp is just an entire goddamn drop into empty void, so... If you're jumping off, like, if you're trying to get outside of bounds on the final episode of the game, like, that's on you at that point. So, I could add extra geometry in here and make the map more circular would probably be my best bet. The only problem is I don't know what I'm going to use for the basically the world end. So, like, one idea I could have is have walls on either side here, and then at the back of the tower I could have like a fake quote-unquote bridge going out into nothingness, but you can only like take a few steps before the bridge is basically just collapsed. Like, that's a pretty common factor, is having collapsed bridges be markers for the end of the map. Okay, I've done the thing again. And this one's a little bit more major. Okay, so G, Shift C. I want to try and vertex, but I want to center around the active element. Now, I want the active element to be compared to an edge and then closest. Okay, so that should be mostly repaired now, although... GX and then GY. That is compared to an edge, I just want vertex. Alright, cool. That should fix the problem, hopefully. Now... Right, I need to consider rope placement. There's probably going to be like a lot of high spots that characters would want to run between. Like, the first one that comes to mind is one of these buildings across to like either here or here. So I'm sorry, this is bothering me. I'm gonna hide that for now, just so I don't have to witness the flickering all the time. So it's really a question of how tall do I want to make this building, because this is probably the best candidate for like mounting a rope to go across to a different building. So, like, do I want something aircraft hangar size? Like, probably need to research height of warehouse buildings. I can't just say hide the warehouse, because unfortunately the warehouse is it's essentially the New Zealand equivalent to Walmart. So there's a real chance that if I would just say warehouse height, it would just show me the height of the warehouse building. And that's not entirely accurate to what I want. Alright, so we've got here. So it seems that like the general height of these has gone up over the years, which is rather interesting. So I think it's less a focus on how high the general building is, it's how high the roof is compared to the walls. So we've got automated warehouses, which is not what I want here. So the general height of these is 16 meters? Really? Aren't these panels only like 4 meters tall? Like, that's pretty tall. Wait, hang on. How tall are these? Yeah, 4 meters tall. So you mean to tell me that these are 3 of these tall? Sorry, I need to Alt-D this. So you mean to tell me that these... Actually, it's not even 3, it's 4 tall. So you mean to tell me that this is how tall an actual warehouse is. Like, that's pretty egregious. And I've still got to, like, have a front end and all that sort of thing. Like, Not sure about that one, Chief. I'm probably going to cut that back a bit because I feel like 3 is probably fine, but 4 is pushing it a bit. Yeah, I think that's probably for the best. So, grab these, delete them, don't need them at the moment. Now, I need to grab all of these. So... This is just straight up the height of a warehouse. Like, the hell? How do you... Actually, this might provide some interesting movement. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the times with these levels, going into here. Right, let's see, is there a good example I can show here? Like, the first thing I think of is there's like a safe house area in episode 8 that's a good example of this, but I don't have any photos of it. Actually, no, this one here is probably my best option. So, this is a mock-up of an episode 1 building, and that particular building is actually very tall. So what the developers have done is that they've put multiple bounce pads up the side of the building in terms of these awnings. So you jump on the awning, and it launches you up to a second one, and maybe a third one you get to the top. That could be an option for a warehouse, but the problem is I don't know what would be considered a valid thing to attach to the outside of a building that would allow me to have a character go up the side of it. Now, obviously, like, there's pipes and stuff that I can put onto this, but... Because from the looks of it, warehouses don't generally have stuff attached to the sides of them. I mean, sure, they have windows and stuff, but unless it's pipes, I don't see much of a way to get away with that. I guess you could say this could count as a warehouse, but this is more of just a generic industrial building than an actual warehouse. Like, again, this is like just a generic building. This isn't a full-on warehouse. Like, this I'd class as a warehouse. So, I suppose one option is having doors on the sides of the building that are rolled up to different heights and then maybe using those, but that's a bit of a stretch. Yeah, see, like, this sort of thing could work, but I don't know how you would layer those, essentially. Like, one thing I could do is have... I can get rid of this one, because I can just make a duplicate of this thing here. Mind, I need both of these. Or all 3 of them, technically. And 9 degrees. So what I can do is I can have one of these outside the building. So this would... is this around element? It is. So why is it snapping into the middle of the building? That's strange. Alright, so I can have one of these and then have the player character jump onto a door awning before being launched up to the roof, and that might be the best way that I can go about this. And now I just need a roof. So it seems like not all warehouse buildings are required for you to have like a big generic door on one side or like several. It seems that some of them just have like these shorter sides be completely quote unquote flat. So that's very helpful to me. That is not. There we go. Actually, can I just grab this one here, and these ones. Shift S and cursor to select it. So that should be straight in the middle. And then Shift S, selection to cursor. Make sure I've got the correct height. Cool. And now I can just scale this out. So that's like that, and then scale in the Y. Okay, that should be enough. And now we've got the roof for the building. This one's gonna need to be edited a bit though, because everything has this more steepled triangular roof rather than the generic square one that I've been using. So scale this back out. Oh. That is not conforming to the way that I'd want it to. That is fine, that is what this function is for. You don't need to be good at all the functions, you just need to be good enough at the ones you know already. And then loop cut there. And then I need to move this one up and these ones down. And that should be sufficient for a warehouse building. Now I do have that one down there that I need to keep in mind too. Okay, so these ones and duplicate them. And yeah. Now I should just be able to make a duplicate. In fact, I'll just Alt-D this. There's no point for me to not do so. And I entirely forgot this section here. Great. Up. I sort of just want to... I want to scale this out just for it to fit over the entire roof. So I want to scale around the active element. So that should be active. And then scaling this out. In fact, why am I doing it like this? I can literally just... Actually, I know why I'm doing it like that. It's because if I don't, then the center of this is going to be all wonky. Okay, and let's try this again. Scale that just a bit more. Okay, cool. And now this one I can just grab and manipulate as needed. Hello? Where is the edge? There we go. Okay, now I have edited that, so this one should be edited as well. Now all I need to do is just position this in the right spot, and we should be good to go. Alright, cool. So we've got a couple more buildings with roofs on them now. So I should just be able to grab a rope and connect it between this building and this one here. So, should be... Now, Control X to dissolve that, because I don't know how many I'm going to need for this. Now, there is something to be said for me to add, like, actual quote-unquote anchor points. So, I believe there's, like, rocks and whatnot that attach ropes together in these games. So, like, in the case of Episode 2, they're hooked around these spires and around here, or in Episode 3 when they're wrapped around these pillars. And yeah, basically I just need a good anchor point, and I think for the case of this particular model, I might be wrapping them around things like just smokestacks and pipes and that sort of thing. The only outlier here is actually here in episode 1 of Sly 3. So it's funny, because they say that this entire dome, which is the police headquarters, is made entirely of slippery tiles. But the rope, instead of going up to this here, and I understand why, because this is actually a crawl space, they just have it on, I believe it's a nail stuck to the side of this. So technically it's anchored, but the anchor is so small that you can't even recognize it as such. Oh, actually these don't have an anchor either. They're actually attached to the ledges. But see, this is the sort of thing I'm talking about, how there's these big stakes that the ropes wrap around, and that's probably the sort of thing I want to go for. So, rotate this. And then, I think, which one do I want to attach it to? Probably this one, right? Like, this one makes the most sense, and if I'm going to be honest, it makes more sense to... yeah, position the rope up here, because this is the tallest point. And then this one down here. Wrap that around there. And then I just want to add a extra one in here. And I just want to move this down slightly. Because obviously, like, I want the rope to have some slack because it's going downwards. So I want the rope to be sloped down towards this. And then I want this one to be up towards there. Okay, yeah, that would be the sort of thing I'd expect from moving one building to another. So this is probably a good position here. Now, the other position I immediately thought of was this here. I want to have two ropes connecting, say, this building here to this pavilion in the middle here. And this is more reminiscent of the episode 1 in Sly 3, where you have the... what is it? The opera stage? The one that you use for the final mission, essentially, to try and assassinate the villain of that episode. And there's ropes connecting the stage, like, buildings to the stage itself. So, I think one there. Oh. I can't... oh, interesting. One would think I'd be able to, but apparently not. So I'm going to have that there. this one. I'll move this along, actually, because the anchor points do probably need to have a fair bit of space. Probably around about there. Loosen this up a bit. And then I want to sort of rotate this. Okay, so it connects from there to there, and then same with this building here. So I need to make a duplicate of this. Crap. Okay, I need to set origin to geometry. I knew this was going to happen eventually. I'm going to have to fix it for a lot of these, but for now, just fixing it for this one's the most convenient to me. So I want to lock it to here. In fact, this one is probably easier for me because I can just get away with sticking the end of this rope into here, and like this is a reasonable anchor point, I think. So grab this and position it there. So that's in the middle-ish now. So now I should just be able to move this into place. Rotate this, scale down. And then rotate this. I do want there to be a lot more slack in this, so I'll move this across. And I think moving it over a bit more is actually probably a good idea. Okay, that should be good. So we've got these buildings connecting each other. I got that one there. Now, the next immediate thought is an anchor point leading from, say, from this smaller building to this aircraft hangar. And in fact, I could probably even do a fun little one where I connect from here to here and then connect immediately from this one to up here. That is an option that I have. A lot of the ropes that I've got are just literally in this dock area, so I do need to sort of keep that in mind. Because I feel like, I wouldn't say they're used sparingly, but the ropes in Sly, like especially in Sly 2, are used a lot less than people expect them to be. Like, especially in later levels, like in earlier levels it makes more sense to have better movement options. But in later levels, like, they're pretty sparingly used. Like, I'm looking at Canada 2 here. And there's a rope that goes from here to here to here. But this entire sequence of ropes is actually a requirement to get up to a high spot, which I believe is this section here. Because this is actually a part of a mission. But if we're talking like non-mission specific like rope movement, we're looking at this one here, this series, I believe it's 3. 1, 2, 3 up here. And like that's basically it. Oh, and there's one down here. The only other quote-unquote rope movement are these icicles up here. And again, this is required for a mission because you have a... It's the same mission too. It's laser redirection. The entire mission requires you to have, like, to move up to these specific points so you can place down laser redirection cubes. And you... It's so silly. You melt the ice in, like, one specific part of the level to release a book, and you also invariably release a mammoth which promptly goes on to freeze itself again. Not a joke, that's a thing. Like, there's one thing to be said for the Sucker Punch team that developed Sly 2. Like, they have a really good sense of humor. Okay, and rotate this. Scale that back in. I'm probably... Do I want to have that much slack to it? I mean, like, it would provide some intrigue. Yeah, I think I'll leave it like that. I do, however, need to get into a better position. This one, so it's actually pointing towards there instead of this way. So now I can rotate this, and it's nice and flat through here. And now make a duplicate of this. In fact, I can even just, because this is shift deduplicated, I can actually just extrude this up to here. Like, I don't need to make a duplicate when I've already got the rope in the correct position. So between these, do a subdiv and move this down, scale it in a bit. So I want there to be less slack on this side. Okay, and move this. Okay, to there. Now the only interesting thing here is I'm going to have to move this around. I'll probably even move it to here, because I can just create an anchor point for which this can be used. I'm going to have that sort of redirect around the object. Okay, so that should provide movement that I want from around here. Okay, cool. So got the movement going from here to here to here, so that would provide good access to this building. I do still need to take into consideration the upward movement on the sides as well. Like, it's all well and good to have the rope, but having more than one access point is always a good idea. And then my little keep off the grass sign. Honestly, like, I could actually have that in a couple of different areas, because this wood class is a breakable, I think. Okay, and, I need to move these around. Those. Just need to move these away from the edge here. Ah, heck, what have I done? I'm still fixing my screw up from probably a couple of streams ago at this point. Okay, so we got that. Should be fine, I think. Now I just need to find that other hidden cheeky... Ah, found you. Can't hide from me, you little shit. I mean, you can hide, but you can't hide forever. Okay, now I should be able to move these, no problems. Hopefully. And hopefully this should be in an alright enough position. Just move it along a little bit. There we go. Okay, and yeah. Alright. Now, all these... I'm still having ones that just have random geometry. If that's just straight up been broken. Because I neglected to pay attention when I moved everything around. Okay, these further back ones seem to have made it out okay. Oh, this one's also a warehouse, actually. So I need to hide that. That, that. And then... also need to turn the vertex on. And there we go. And that 90 and move this down so it is attached to this. If it will let me, why is it deciding that it doesn't want to play ball? Right, there we go. Now, this is going to be an interesting one because I still need to figure out what I'm doing with this thing. I know I said pipes, and I am still going to do that, but this is going to be probably a bit more of a headache than I initially anticipated it for it to be. Like, it's all well and good to say, oh yeah, I can attach pipes and ropes to this thing, but it's not going to look all that great, I just realized. So, like, I could have... Jump pads are going to be an issue here. That's why I originally had this on a square base, so I could have a jump pad, but... having... pipes only is going to be a pest. The other option is, too, is... where is it? I know they're quite common in the India levels. But there's no... like, there's one there, but you can't get a good look at it. So I'm actually going to defer to this one here. So, this flag here... like, in the actual game, this is sort of like a 50-50 shot. They don't generally show up in episode 1. But these can have the ability to essentially flex. So, you jump, hit circle button, you land on this as a spire point jump. And then it bends down and then flicks you upwards as like a, basically just a delayed jump. So what I can do is I can have these scattered around the tower. I believe episode 1 here of Sly 3. Unfortunately, I don't have a photo of Octavio's tower. So that is an option. And I'm going to attach a point to this one here from this building. So that I want to attach to that. And then can't make a segment there, I know that. I just want to attach it to the front of the building. And I want to attach this in such a way so it looks like it's part of the building. There. And then where is the other side of this? Oh, it's like gone really... how did this happen? Weird. Okay, there we go. And I think I will just mount it directly to that point, because if I try to clip it in, it's just going to look really strange. Otherwise, I can clip it to this one here and then pull that in. which will probably look just fine, actually. The only issue is I can't go too far, and otherwise it's just gonna not do what I ask of it. G then Y. And then probably fairly taut is how I want to have this rope. So maybe even scaling this down a bit more. Like, obviously having the rope there is good, it's just not having it too loose in this case is probably the best. So you have those. Maybe having some connecting some of these further apart buildings is an idea. Just to have an option of movement, but not necessary to do in general. So, like, say from one of these buildings across here could be an option. I could absolutely fit something in here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do just yet, though. Good stream. I must go to the airport now. Alright, have a safe flight there, likely. Hope you have fun. And hope you get some decent sleep on the flight if it takes long enough. So I can... take this... and then that one there. Down. What I can do is I can actually mat cap this lot, and I want to just purely so I don't have to guess as to where things are. Like, see how I can actually see what's going on here now? That's probably a good idea. So that is there now. Take this. There we go. Alright, so we've got another rope there. I do need to give some consideration to these objects down here. And more specifically, where is it? So the smaller items like the box and that. Actually, where are half of these anyway? Shouldn't there be... Where are they? Ah, here they are. So all of these I still need to take into consideration. Wait, didn't I combine these together? Why is it... Oh, okay, so it's actually just this one here. Okay, that makes sense. And this is the guttering. Actually, I wonder if it'd be better if I used a... like the geometry nodes... not geometry nodes. Curves to make the guttering instead. I'm not sure if it's a good idea or not. I'll have to think on that. Now... probably from here to here, although that is quite the distance. We can do that though. So, using this. Oh, grab that and move it up to here. Grab that, move it to there, and then... about there? Like, this one's... Like, I want to say this one's taut, but this one's definitely got some slack to it, that's for sure. I'm just going based off of vibes at this point. Okay, that's anchored into there. This is probably going to be anchored into the side of the building as usual. And rotate this one. And now I also need to do this one, so hide that. And of course not. Make sure I don't accidentally select the basketball cage. And then D, C, and go back down. I probably have to make this an individual item because I do still need to create doors and whatnot for this thing. I basically have to make these all essentially their own separate objects. Like, they can have multiple pieces inside the object, but I do need to join them at some point. Okay, so we got that now, and probably... Maybe even this one I can... I'd probably even connect 2 ropes into this. So, this one. And now for this, I want to... Goodbye. Bot. And probably even to this one here. Because I don't want it to be connected to the same buildings all the time. They'd just be silly. I want there to be some interest with movement. Okay, so that, there, and this I need to rotate it into the correct position and maybe just a little bit slow, not too much. Why is that so? And into the side there. And I do probably need an object for this one. So I'll place it roughly around there. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick tour of this thing actually. So if I believe it's Shift Tab for this one. No, it's not. Is it Shift Tab or is it Shift Tilde? It's Shift Tilde. I'm dumb. And then toggle gravity like that. So yeah, I'm roughly the same height as this, so this should be fairly realistic. Oh, I need to increase the jump height. That's a bit silly of me. Did I accidentally cancel this? I wasn't intending to. Shift. And tab. I am so glad that Blender kept the quote-unquote game engine part of their software, because that makes things like this so much easier. Oh, right, it's V for jump, I forgot. I'm so used to spacebar being the jump button, it's kind of silly. I don't know why space is the teleport button. I can move with it. And why can't you move when you jump? That's a bit silly. Like, that seems like a very basic thing you should be able to do. At least you can in most games. I don't know why Blender has it so you can't. Can I walk on these? Okay, no, that makes sense, actually. There we go. Accidentally fell off, but I'm good. So, yeah, I think we should be okay. The only issue is obviously I can't, like, just make ropes and then walk on them. I think I probably have to convert them to geometry before I can do anything about that. But yeah, this looks decent so far, in terms of movement anyway. Hello, hey Tony, how you doing? I'm just looking at a couple more things before I end off the stream. Mainly just looking to see how the map looks from a first-person perspective. Okay, so we got all those, and I'd have to throw in pipes some other time, because that's just going to be a whole shebang of itself, and I need to, you know, craft said pipes. Like, it's probably something that'd be better done in geometry nodes using curves, but I'm not entirely certain. Oh wait, yeah, that's on by default. I don't want that to be on by default. Probably. If I was going to move that across, I'd have to have that moved backwards. This was a map. Yeah, like, originally it was supposed to be like a generic, oh yeah, I can take like a couple of screenshots in this and then put it as like a background image for whenever my stream crashes or whatever. And then it's just turned into this. So... I think, yeah, I've already got the one there, so probably one more rope going to this one. Yeah. For what game? It's based around the Sly Cooper series. And more specifically, this was supposed to be more in the vein of Sly 2, Sly 3. But I think I've probably just gone a little bit too detailed with this to get away with that. But certainly not detailed enough for it to be Sly 4. Why am I in Lasso Select? Hello? Now, do I think this is... Yeah, it's probably far enough away. In fact, I may even move this across, because it's not always the shortest point that gets the rope in between it. It's usually some random point on the building, and then maybe like a corner. This game isn't exactly known for its efficiency, that's for sure. I mean, all you have to do is just look at the spaghetti junction of ropes in episodes 2 and I believe 7 I showed as an example earlier. Not exactly what one would call efficient movement. It's good movement, just not efficient. And just make sure this is pointed correctly. Alright, so that should be fine. I'm probably gonna have to end off the stream here. I think maybe for the next stream I might do something about maybe adding some more details to these buildings. So things like doors, awnings, props. I'd probably need a long stream just to get through all of it, but I'll try my best. Anyways, I'll end off the stream. Twitch side, probably no raid tonight, if I take a guess. Yeah, no raid tonight. Yeah, that's about it. I'm sorry for the shorter stream today. I unfortunately had a few issues with my microphone. So yeah, see you later, Tony. Um, yeah, some issues in the microphone. Hopefully it won't be broken tomorrow, but never know. Anyway, I shall see y'all next time.